Hello, I'm Vicki Brenner. I am the local history specialist at Ingersoll Library, and I would like to take a few minutes today to pass along a few hints and tips about working with Ancestry Library Edition. During this time where many people are at home, Oxford County Library is providing free access at home to Ancestry Library Edition. So I'd just like to show you a little bit about how you would access that. Right now I'm at the library website at ocl.net, and an easy way to access Ancestry is to visit our local history page. So if you just click on that, you'll find a link to Ancestry Library Edition. So I'm just going to continue on, and this is where you would add your library card number and your PIN number. If you need help with any of that, feel free to contact us. You can email us at localhistory@ocl.net or myaccount@ocl.net if you require assistance with accessing Ancestry with your library card. So I'm just going to continue to log in here and following along. It should open a new window with Ancestry for you. So I'm just going to, as I mentioned, I'm just going to go through a few hints that may make your searching easier. And as you're likely aware, there are types of records that provide family information. And often a way forward with family history is to locate your ancestor on a census. And following that, it's what Ancestry calls vitals or birth, death, marriage records. Military records can be helpful for some families, and Canadian First World War records are available on Ancestry. And immigration records are a great and interesting source of information, particularly for Canadians, because we're a country of immigrants. And there's a very good collection on Ancestry, particularly between the years of 1900 to 1935. So that's worth checking out. So we can go ahead and click on the search button. And I'll just scroll down a little bit here. So they, again, on the sidebar, they note many different types of records that they make available for their users. But the very popular ones are just at the top here. So let's talk a bit about doing a search. And some of the hints that I just wanted to mention today involve truncation searching, and it's particularly helpful if you're searching very common names, and often you don't know how they may have been indexed, either when they were created or when they were transcribed from handwritten records. So something that Ancestry makes available are two functions that will replace letters. One is the asterisk and the other is the question mark. So I'm just going to do a sample search for you today with perhaps the first name Elizabeth. Now it's unsure whether your ancestor would be indexed as Eliza, Elizabeth with an S, or with a Z. So these truncation searches will allow you to cover all of these bases at the same time, with the provision that you need 3 letters on the front end of your search to give Ancestry enough information to go on. So our replacement character is always the question mark, which is easy to remember. We're telling Ancestry that we don't know what that letter is. So if we make that be the Z or S, we'll put the A in, and then we'll put the asterisk. And the asterisk will search everything past that point, whether it's Beth or what have you. And as for a last name, we can do the same thing here. If Elizabeth's last name was Johnson, Johnstone, Johnston, we can cover all of those with the asterisk. It will search all of those combinations for you. And so we can put in Ingersoll. And always use the helper. Ancestry will always provide a geographic helper, and it just standardizes a place name to better fit their filters and give you better results. So we'll just click search and see what we get here. So we see here we have an Eliza in Ingersoll. We have Elizabeth. We have Eliza Johnstone. So that's going to allow us to look at all of these possibilities to hopefully weed out which of these ladies was our ancestor. Let's just go back to our first example here, and we'll look at a census record from 1921 for Ingersoll. So of course the complete digitized records are here, as well as sort of a citation or a transcription of what you would find on it. And helpful thing about the 1921 census, it does include information like the year of immigration, which is helpful. As I mentioned, we can go to immigration records to see if we can track down where Eliza originated from. You see that she was born in Scotland, but perhaps we could narrow it down further. Her parents were also born in Scotland. Something else that the 21 census hasn't is the address in Ingersoll that the family lived. So it has the complete household listed here, including her husband and all of her children. And we can go ahead and look at this record. The 21 census helpfully highlights the family group and also puts all the column headings in for you. So you can use the slider tool here on the right to blow this record up completely and get a better look at it. So Eliza is here at age 43, born in Scotland, emigrated 1913. If you'd like to save this record to your computer, you can do so by clicking Save and Save to this computer, and it will save it as a JPEG file, however, wherever you would like to put it. Something else that's interesting about this has occupations. Her husband was a plumber, income, details like that. And we can just click back to go further back. And sometimes there are other records that Ancestry provides for you if it's able to determine whether there's a match. We'll just go back and look at another Eliza to see if we can get some of those helper records. Let's look at this one. Try this one. And this is an Ontario death record. For the town of Tillsonburg. So it's giving things like the person that reported the death, the cause of death, that type of information, date of death, often where they were interred. Depending on the year that things are recorded, a different level of detail was included. So some later death records, this one was 1899, later ones will have quite a bit more information, like this one from 1918 will be a bit more detailed. So you actually see where she was born, occupation, her father's name, which if you didn't know her maiden name, that would be very helpful for going further with your genealogy search. Something else I'd like to bring forward with Ancestry that can be helpful are the message boards. Now, because you're using Ancestry Library Edition, you can't actually create your own account or generate your own messages on the message boards, but you can search them. So you can search surnames, people who are searching for the same surname as you. I'll just put my name in there and go. And you'll see their entire boards. Oops, I may have clicked off that. Sorry. With that surname. And you can further search by clicking search that board. You could search Ontario. So if they're looking for that family in Ontario, it may be somebody that you can connect with or has more information for you. Another useful approach to the message board is searching geographically, and it's particularly helpful perhaps for Europe, especially maybe Eastern Europe, where there aren't as many records available. And you can search by village name, which is quite helpful, especially if you don't speak the language. You can find, this is the village of my paternal grandfather in Hungary, and it's very small. It's a very small village, and there are lots of mentions. Ancestry will highlight the mention of the village that you're looking for, keyword, and sometimes you can pick up on the family that you're searching for on the message boards. Just thought I would point that out to you. So I'm just going to go back to the search box. You can also search the card catalog, much like a library. And because I specialize in Canadian family history, I'm just going to put Ontario. And this will bring up all of the databases that Ancestry has compiled related to family history in Ontario and the types of records that they make available. So there may be things there that you hadn't seen. It's worth taking a look at. Or marriages, if that was particularly of interest to you. Like these early marriage registers are often a good source, because this would cover the period before Confederation, when mandatory registration of birth, death, and marriages was required by our country. So they're going to include registers that were created by clergy, traveling clergymen, parish registers, that type of information. And that's really the only way to capture that information is by searching pre-government records. So I hope that's been of interest to you. As I said, if you need help accessing with your library card to access this free resource during this time, please contact Oxford County Library. Thank you.